One.
Good morning, Jeff Hoffman here at Black Hills Ammunition. If you've been watching our Instagram and Facebook sites, you've seen that we've been putting up pictures of Jello shots. Those would be more interesting to you probably if you knew exactly what we're looking at when we're determining what constitutes good performance. Jello, we refer to it as Jello shots in our terminology here. Actually, what we're talking about is 10% ballistic gelatin. You take 10% by weight ballistic gelatin, just Knox gelatin, just like your mom always made Jello or Jello jigglers out of. You take that, mix it with 90% water, and then you put it in the fridge for 3 days, and then we take it out, shoot it, and then we insert red dye into the cavity so that you got contrast. You can see the damaged area, and then we measure that, and then we quantify it. There's standards for that that we get from shooting other ammunitions. There's also standards that the FBI has put out. For example, the FBI likes to see performance penetration depths of 12 inches to 18 inches. In this case, what we're looking at here today, we just got done shooting a 9mm 125 Honey Badger out of a small Kimber Solo pistol. The trouble with pistols like this is that the barrels are short enough that oftentimes you can't get good performance out of your bullet. Basically, the barrel length doesn't allow you to attain sufficient velocity to get the bullet to perform well. That's one of the advantages of the Honey Badger bullet. Let's take a look at what we accomplished here in shooting this today. We've got, here's the entrance, there's where the bullet stopped. What we're looking at here is penetration of about 16 inches, which is really good if you recall FBI requirements for 12 to 18 inches. Typically with 9mm hollow points with lighter bullets that expand really pretty well, you struggle to get penetration at 12 inches. That's the minimum of the FBI requirements. In this case, we're at 16 inches. Even though we fired it out of a very short barrel, we got good penetration. In addition to that, we didn't sacrifice on the temporary cavity diameter. Temporary cavity diameter, measured right here, is about 3 inches. That's about as good as it gets with 9mm hollow points. And again, I said that oftentimes you can't get more than 12 inches, so we got a good temporary cavity, plus we got 16 inches. And what that means is you can get good performance going through barriers, things like heavy leather jackets or heavily muscled or well-built guy that's trying to attack you. You have to be able to have enough penetration to get through those barriers, whether it's heavy pectoral muscles and ribs or leather coat, whatever it is. You need the penetration to get to that level, but you want to do some damage along the way. So in this case, what we've got is it hit, the temporary cavity started immediately. That's something that you want. Sometimes that doesn't happen depending on the bullet style. With this bullet style, the temporary cavity started immediately, formed a temporary cavity of about 3 inches right at about the 4.5-inch mark, and then the temporary cavity continued out where it starts to diminish and get down to approximately bullet diameter. We're looking at about the 10-inch mark, and then past that point we just measure the penetration depth. In this case, you can actually see that it reached 16 and the bullet rebounded slightly. This material is really pretty dense. This is far denser than what you think of when you remember your mom's Jello. You can whack this with a baseball bat and you're not going to damage it. So in short, what we've got here is a bullet that performs well, doesn't require a hollow point, doesn't have a hollow point that can plug shut, and we're creating good temporary cavity diameter plus getting the penetration we want. One last thing that you can look at, anytime you're looking at somebody's gel pictures, look for the BB. There's a little BB there. That assures you that somebody did their diligence to make sure the gelatin was of the correct density. We have to shoot a BB into that. The BB has to be doing a certain velocity and has to penetrate to a certain depth window. If it does that, then we know the ballistic gelatin is the correct density. So anytime you're looking at somebody's gel photos, look for the BB. And not every gelatin picture you see is going to be correctly done. You want to look, if it's clear and not yellow, that's a substitute. It still gives you some data, but it's not going to give you the same data. It should be yellow like this, and you should see the BB in it. So anyway, that's Ballistic Jello 101. Jeff Hoffman from Black Hills Ammunition here. We'll be accepting any questions that you've got. We'll post this picture onto Instagram so you can look at it really closely, and Facebook. Any questions you've got, send them off to us and we'll get you answers back right away. Thank you.